Hello again. I'm Jake.
I'm Marlin.
I'm Nancy.
A.K.A. Grandma and Guy. Join me once again. It's been a couple of months since the three of us tried a family outing to the movies. Last one was Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. A film that we thought was pretty fun, but sadly did not do well at the box office, and now it looks like we might be in a similar situation. We just went to see Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, his long-dreamt passion project that apparently has been 40 fucking years in the making, and he's wanted to make this movie for years, but shit just kept getting in the way, budgetary reasons, and now finally he's made it, and it's his first film in 13 years after the vampire film Twixt. And I guess the big question is, what'd you think?
I thought the photography, cinematography was just spectacular. It couldn't have been better. The pace of the movie, it kept going through on and on and on, and giving you layers of different things that the film was trying to make you feel and make you understand.
Grim?
So I think they started off, and there were some voiceovers with some explanation of what you're about to see. It talked of the movie being a fable, and so I think that really set the tone. And you had to understand that what you were going to see was going to have all of these parts, but it was like watching a fable. And I think as the movie went on, for me, there were times where it seemed that he was talking about things that are very current. So the fact that he thought of this, and it was many, many years in the making, there were, it really was essentially the battle between good and evil, or
the powerful and the poor.
And the poor. But so I kept on, as watching it, there'd be things that you would swear would be taken from the headlines today, with some of the scenes that you were seeing.
I really like this movie. First off, this movie is batshit, and I say that in the nicest sense of the word. This movie is just, it's crazy, but it does have some poignancy to it. The message can be, you have to pay attention, and there's some parts even I'm still trying to figure out a little. Yep.
You were shadowing your face.
Just ignore it, it happens.
It's okay, Marge, we'll do an edit. Pick it up right there.
Oh, well, the show must go on.
And the best thing I can think of, there are two movies this movie reminds me of. The Wolf of Wall Street and Caligula. This movie just has the same level of insanity, although less pornographic than those films. It's just a crazy ride filled with a bunch of powerful people, a lot of them pretty horrible, but very, it's fascinating. And the questions I had going in were, would the film be compelling? Would it keep me interested? Would it drag? And, well, it was long. I can't say I ever lost interest. What about you guys?
It was long, and I looked at my watch several times. I didn't hate the movie or anything like that, but it was long. The feature about it that has kept you intrigued was the ability to stop time. The one character and the one character's wife who seemed to be in control of that, and that was really just an extra spice up of the things that were being displayed on the movie.
Grim?
So I think there were times where I was very engrossed in what was happening, and there were other times where I took a step back and tried to figure out what is going on. That you were, there were big scenes, that were very staged, involving lots of people and lots of action and words, and then there were other times that were, very personal and poignant, and I think that over time you get a better feel for who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. And so I think, but I bounced back and forth. But I think that, for the over 2 hours, most of the time I found it to be very watchable and intriguing. But like Jake said, you had to pay attention. It didn't just wash over you. It required something of you to stay engaged with the movie.
And I liked the fact that even the good guys were flawed. They had weaknesses. They made assumptions that were wrong. And in general, the population of the Megalopolis was many, many different factors, all with their own point of view on things, and that interacted throughout the movie. That was very interesting as well.
Yeah, there were many people, even the, I guess you call them good guys. They've got strong ideas, visions, and even though some of them do have good intentions, it's the fact that it's the vision they want to do that gets in the way. And I will say, it is I'm not even going to try, but it would be very difficult to try and explain what this movie is about.
Right.
Beyond the simple, as you say, good, evil, powerful, and the poor. It's definitely one of those society commentary movies, and the thing that it does what Coppola does best. It's a long movie, and its story, in a way, feels like an odyssey. In Coppola, his best films are known for not following the typical plot structure. Mm-hmm. And this film definitely doesn't follow the typical structure, although the ending, I won't say, because Mr. No Spoilers here.
Right.
The ending does follow some things you might expect from an epic. And the final shot of this movie is a real oh shit moment where I'm like, is this good or bad?
Right.
You have to see it to know what I'm saying.
Right.
It's almost like the whole movie was trying to say, we're humans, we got a lot of promise, but boy do we have a lot of flaws, and we screw up a lot of things. So enjoy the good moments.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is it's really important to see this on a bigger screen. So I know it's being shown on some IMAX theaters. We did not. We went to a standard theater, but a big screen. But I cannot imagine trying to, wait and watch this movie at home unless you have a mega-sized television. There's just too much going on the screen to see it on a small screen.
It might be okay if your screen covered the entire wall of your living room.
Maybe.
But it was made for a big screen.
It is, and it's kind of sad because of right now, from what we've seen, not a lot of people are going to see this movie. But I'll encourage everyone I know to check it out, but who knows if they'll have the time. And Francis Ford Coppola, he is at a point in his life where he could make just about whatever he wanted. And he said he hasn't made a movie in 13 years, but the last couple of films he did before Megalopolis were very small, low-scale movies. And he said he just wanted to do what he wanted, and now he wanted to make something huge. And this movie cost $120 million to make, and he pretty much gave up every cent he had, from what I've read. He sold his winery, which these two are a fan of, to finance this movie. So I'm like, I hope it makes a little. He says he doesn't care, that he just wants people to see it, but I hope it makes a little bit.
Right. So we were the only three in the theater. It was a movie house that we had to drive about 50 minutes to get to, because our town was not going to screen the movie.
Yeah.
So you may have to look for it.
We had to go out of state for Megalopolis, and I guess the question is, was it worth it?
Well, it's New England states. It's pretty small. I maybe wouldn't have driven out of Nebraska to see it.
I think it was who knows if it will come here. I don't know how they decide which theaters to put it in, but there were many movies being shown at this particular place today, but we were the only three people in the Megalopolis showing.
In some way, it was both nice, but kind of depressing. And I guess a big question is, what did y'all think of the special effects?
Oh, yeah, that's part of the... Yes. Everything they tried to do came off well.
Right.
It was as good as it gets. And they did a whole lot of different kind of special
Right.
effects.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, like Coppola, I read, fired the special effects team in the middle of production because he wasn't satisfied with what they were doing and hired new people. And one report claimed that the scheduling for this movie the production of this movie was the most chaotic since Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
And the special effects, nothing like some of the time stuff was pretty cool. Like Adam Driver's character has the power to pause time, and they never explain why. It just is, and I'm like, I like that. It's kind of like John Carpenter. Who needs explanations? And I for this screening, because it's been billed as a sci-fi movie,
Right.
I wore my Captain EO t-shirt. Why? Because Francis Ford Coppola directed Captain EO, and it was basically the last sci-fi film he made before this. Right. Supernova doesn't count. And overall, I really liked it. It's not for everybody, but in my opinion, if you want a very stylistic, very bonkers movie with characters who you will find engaging, then I recommend checking it out.
It'll be something that you think about after. It's not a movie that just washes over you. It requires something of you. You have to participate in the story and try to find a way to connect with it. Otherwise, it would be a very long 2 hours.
2+ hours.
2 hours, 18 minutes
Right.
from every source I've read. And by the way, just because I have to ask, this is an all-star cast movie. There's too many actors to go through one by one, but the actors they got, Adam Driver, obviously, he plays, and by the way, this movie, it takes place in what used to be New York, but they now call it New Rome. And everybody, some are wearing modern-day clothes, some are wearing Roman-era garb, and hell, the main character is named Caesar.
Right.
And his love interest is played by Emmanuel, I think that's her name, is named Julia, and Adam Driver is Caesar. I think he does well playing a visionary who's got a lot of demons.
Yes.
Yeah. He carried that role. He was the center.
I'd much rather watch him in this than in Star Wars. And we got so many other great actors in this. Lawrence Fishburne, who's kind of his Caesar's driver, plus the narrator.
Right.
He's got a good voice.
Yes, he's a great narrator.
The mayor of New Rome is Giancarlo Esposito. His character could have become grating, but he's a great enough actor. He was able to make you feel the human side of his character.
Right. He made his reason for acting the way that he was acting known, so that you understood where he was coming from.
And two, I guess, of the most surprising faces who aren't that complex of characters, but I liked seeing them. Jon Voight and Dustin Hoffman.
Right.
Dustin Hoffman, he's just there to be there,
Right.
but it's cool to see him.
Yeah.
Small role.
Right.
And Jon Voight, he plays a sleazy, horny old man who kind of gets a brief redemption moment at the end.
Yes.
Good redemption.
Yes, he does.
Makes a point of it.
The ones who surprised me the most, who I knew they were going to be in it, but I wasn't. Quick shout out to Talia Shire, Francis Coppola's sister. It's cool that he brought her as a part of this. But the ones who shocked me the most were Shia LaBeouf and Audrey Plaza, wish I could remember her name at the moment. She played Platinum, the evil seductress of the film, who wants Adam Driver and then marries Jon Voight.
Right.
She is generally known for doing a lot of comedy, but again, she shows that she can, and she has some comedic moments here, but she definitely leaps out of what she's known for, and I thought she was a very good villain for
Yes,
this.
she was. She stepped up to that role. I thought she made it very believable. So she didn't overplay it, but she was very clearly a bad person. So
I thought she would be over the top,
yeah.
but hold on. It looks like that's out.
Okay.
Yeah, just ignore that.
Lost our lights.
We still have the flashlight, but if we were borrowing from midnight screenings before, this is just straight up theft. But yeah, Aubrey Plaza, I really liked her in this, and she was a little over the top at times, but it matches her character because she's like a tabloid reporter for the first part of the film, and the one who really hooked me in was Shia LaBeouf. He is, I wouldn't say he's the main, like there's too many villains for there to really be a main villain, but man, he just chewed the scenery up in this film.
Right.
He basically played Caligula.
Yeah.
He's all about living up the high life, debauchery, and we even see he's engaging in incest. So, yeah, he is Caligula pretty much.
Right.
And he's just loving his evilness. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree.
he played the scumbag. No two ways about it.
And
He had many scenes, so he wasn't just a
Yeah,
passing actor. So he had many scenes, and he did well.
I wasn't sure what to think when I heard that Francis Coppola was putting Shia LaBeouf in his movie, but after seeing this, I'm glad he did. I'm sure one or two actors could do this type of performance, but to see LaBeouf in this role really made it stick out.
That boy is good.
So, do you guys recommend checking it out?
Yes, I think because of all of the hype that it's gotten and the director, I think it is worth seeing. Certainly, if you're a fan of Coppola's work, it's probably something that over time will gain a following. I think it's probably going to be, maybe it becomes a cult film.
That's what happened with his movie, One from the Heart. Yee?
yes. Go. Be ready to stay with it. You got to work to really get the benefit of the movie.
It's not a conventional movie, and I totally get if it's not for everybody. It has a bit of that experimental art house style that most people won't get into, but I got into it, and, well, I'm still debating it at times. I enjoyed it. Only scene I didn't like was when Adam Driver takes the drugs, and he's like, ugh. That was the only thing that was a bit much, but other than that, solid, crazy film. It is the looniest in the best sense of the phrase, and I'm glad I saw it, and I'm glad I went out of state. And as far as long, non-traditional movies go, is it better than Beau is Afraid?
There hasn't been anything that isn't better than Beau is Afraid.
Worst film we saw in 2023. I'm almost surprised he still goes to the movies with me.
The worst film I've ever seen.
Say that again after you see the robot versus the Aztec mummy. Well, thank you for watching, and hope you enjoy it. We'll see you again, hopefully soon.
Okay.